Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my little world here, the Karpuz Mining Laboratory. Today we're going to talk about mining strategies because I get asked this all the time. And I know that's such an influencer thing to say. People ask me all the time about my skincare routine and I tell them, but a lot of people do ask me about my mining strategy, which pools I use, which devices I use for different coins, and so on and so forth. And so I thought today I'll just provide a quick rundown. So what I'll do is I'll show you each device, I'll tell you what it's mining for, and then we'll jump on the computer and I'll explain a little bit more in depth. So starting with this one right here, this is a Gamma 602, and this one's currently mining for Bitcoin. This is a prototype Gamma Turbo, and this one is also mining for Bitcoin. These two are Revision 6 NerdQAX++. They're currently mining for Bitcoin 2. This Gamma Turbo right here, this one is also mining for Bitcoin 2. This is a Tiny Chip Hub Gamma Turbo. This one's mining for Bitcoin. This is a Tiny Chip Hub Zyber 8G, and this one is mining for Bitcoin 2. Then if we move back here to the laundry room slash Bitcoin mining facility, which is a mess today because we're doing the laundry, we have the Avalon Q, which is multi-port mining. That just means it prioritizes the most profitable coin at any given time, which most of the time is Bitcoin Cash, and then it auto-converts all of its winnings to Bitcoin 2. And then last but not least, we've got this guy right here hiding between the laundry piles. This is a Gamma Turbo. This one is currently mining for Bitcoin. Doing a great job, buddy. Keep up the good work. Now, if we move back into the laboratory here, that's pretty much everything. We also have a few test devices in the kitchen, but we're not going to go in there because those things are for customers and they're just being tested. They're not really my miners. So this thing is not a Bitcoin miner. This is my Prusa Core 1 3D printer, but it is creating Bitcoin miner parts. This is the new Karpuzax stand for the Gamma Turbo. We've got those now on the site at karpuzmining.com. We'll talk about all that stuff here in just a second too. So let's jump on the computer and I'll explain which pools I'm using, and we'll talk about this whole strategy a little more in depth. So let's go.
Okay, I just ate a giant bowl of mac and cheese, and I'm ready to party. So let's dive into this. But before we do, a quick shameless plug for karpuzmining.com, which is my project turn business, and I like it. And this is my channel, and I don't do a lot of self-promotion, so here we go. So Karpuz Mining, I've got all kinds of cool stuff. This started off as me just wanting to make adapters and stuff for myself, to modify my own miners. And it turned out that people wanted the stuff that I had, and now it's grown into this huge thing where we're making apparel. Now we've got cool devices like this one right here that's available for sale on the site, and we're doing unique and interesting things that you don't see anywhere else. There's also a 5% discount if you pay with cryptocurrency because PayPal charges me an exorbitant amount of fees. So check out karpuzmining.com. There's also a link below in the description. All kinds of great stuff to check out. So enough of that though, enough of my little advertisement slash commercial. Let's get back to business here. So you see I've got these 5 devices and they are connected to public pool. Now I'm running my own full node and I've got public pool installed on my Start9 server 1. Now, I made a whole video about this, so I'm not going to get into the details about all that stuff. You can go watch that if you want to know all about setting up your own full node, why you would want to do that, and so on and so forth. But I will say this, having your own node is very cool, and having your own private pool, even though it's called public pool, is also very cool. So these are all my least, they're the lowest powered miners, okay? These are like the Gammas and the GTs and stuff like that, and they're all chasing a Bitcoin solo block. So the odds are pretty low, obviously, on Bitcoin, and so that's why I dedicate all my least powerful miners towards chasing a solo block. If it happens, it's great. But with those medium and higher powered miners, I want to switch to other things occasionally that are a little bit more realistic to try to chase different kinds of blocks or pool mine with, which is what we're going to talk about here right now. So this is my Mining Dutch dashboard. Now Mining Dutch had some issues yesterday due to the whole Cloudflare outage, but we're back in business. We are now connected to Mining Dutch. We are successfully mining away. And we'll start with this top group here, which is called Group Q, which is a single miner. It is my Avalon Q, as you may have guessed by the name Group Q. And right now I've got that one multi-port mining. Now just below that I've got the BC2 solo team. I have 4, oh, it disappeared. I've got 4 miners that are solo mining for Bitcoin 2 blocks. Now, if you hit a Bitcoin 2 block, you get 50 Bitcoin 2 coins, tokens, whatever, and they're worth about 60 cents a piece, so about $30 USD is how it boils down. But the reason I like to chase Bitcoin 2 is for a couple of reasons. Number one, the network difficulty is pretty low. So, relative terms here, obviously. It's about 38G for Bitcoin 2. Now, I just looked at Bitcoin Cash. It's over 800G now for Bitcoin Cash. It keeps climbing up as people continue to mine for that. And then, of course, Bitcoin is like 156T. It's way, way, way up there. So the odds of getting a Bitcoin block are very, very low. But Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin 2 is very achievable. Bitcoin Cash, a little more difficult, obviously. The way I have this set up is I've got the kind of medium-powered miners. I got the Zyber, I got a couple of NerdQX pluses, and I have one GT. They're all trying to solo mine for that Bitcoin 2, trying to make that happen. Now, as far as the queue goes, I have that set up for multi-port mining. Now, like I kind of explained, the way this works is it prioritizes whatever the most profitable coin is at any given time. Now, pretty much all the time, that's going to be Bitcoin Cash. That's the most profitable SHA-256 coin that you can mine for. Now, occasionally it's Fractal Bitcoin or something else, but for the most part, it's always going to be Bitcoin Cash. Now, I have this set up to auto-convert all of my proceeds to Bitcoin 2. I'm really chasing that Bitcoin 2. The reason I do this is because out of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin 2, to me, I think Bitcoin 2 is the most likely to 10x in the foreseeable future. It's like 60 cents now, but it was as high as $2. And the chance of it getting up to about 10 bucks, I think, is possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed or certain by any stretch, but it is possible. We're seeing a lot more interest in Bitcoin 2. We're seeing a lot more people mining Bitcoin 2. And I think just based on that alone, there are some chances for Bitcoin 2 to go up. I don't think Bitcoin 2 is ever going to be some like $100,000 thing. I just don't. I think that's probably impossible. But getting up to 10 bucks, very, very likely. Now, we've only had this running for about 5 hours, and so I'm going to do a separate video once I've had this going for about 24 hours to give you a sense for exactly how many Bitcoin 2 you end up with, Bitcoin 2s, at the end of that 24-hour period. I think it's going to be somewhere around the ballpark of like 6 or 7 maybe, like the kids say, 6, 7, that whole stupid thing. But you know, so you look at if you get 7 of those things and they go up to 10 bucks, all of a sudden that's a $70 mining day. So I have a choice where I can mine for Bitcoin and I can get $5 worth of Bitcoin or $5 worth of Bitcoin Cash, or I can potentially get something that's going to be $50, $60, $70, which makes for a very profitable situation for the old Avalon Q, which costs $5 a day to run in electricity, by the way. And so that's the gamble that I'm taking. Now, I don't always do this. A lot of the times I have the queue mining for solo mining for Bitcoin Cash. Rarely do I have it set to solo mine for Bitcoin just because it's expensive and I'm trying to get some sort of return on investment for this thing. And so a lot of times I'll chase solo Bitcoin Cash blocks. But lately, especially with the price of Bitcoin Cash being a little bit higher and Bitcoin 2 being a little bit lower, I'm trying to use it to just suck up some of those, suck up a little pile of Bitcoin 2 just to see what happens. Now, I tend to change it up quite a bit. I got like total ADHD when it comes to this stuff. And so I'll be laying in bed one night and I'll think, let's switch all the miners to Bitcoin. We want that big reward. And then I think, let's switch them back to Bitcoin Cash. And it just kind of goes back and forth. So my commitment to you is I'm going to leave this for at least a week. And weekly we'll do a check-in and I'll kind of talk about what I'm mining, what's my strategy for this week. But I'll let it go for a week at a time. And that way I can tell you, okay, based on the last 7 days, here's what I ended up with. Here's the current value. That might be kind of interesting and kind of fun. So that is the way we will approach this whole situation here. But right now we're at 85.911 terahashes per second as far as the queue goes. It is diligently working away mining Bitcoin Cash, which is all being auto-converted into Bitcoin 2. So that's pretty much the deal. No solo blocks yet as far as the BC2 solo team. They're trying their best, but they're just not managing to get it. And of course, no Bitcoin blocks from the public pool team over here grinding away, trying to get that Bitcoin block. So maybe in a week that'll change. Maybe the next video you'll see me a lot more excited and enthusiastic because I will have had some tremendous financial windfall. That would be great. But as of right now, these things are just sucking up electricity and they're not doing much of anything but trying their best. And sometimes that's all you can ask for, just trying their best. Now, I said I was going to keep this video short and sweet, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions about this stuff, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer you. You can also send me a message on Instagram if you want. We're also now on X. We're up to 17 followers. Woohoo! So I'm going to be posting some stuff there about new products, giveaways, all of that kind of fun stuff. We'll also announce that stuff here on the channel. And yeah, we're also doing some cool stuff on carpoosmining.com, so make sure to check that out. There's a link below in the description. There's also a whole bunch of other links to other stuff, things I am an affiliate of. There's devices, there's discount codes, there's all kinds of great stuff. If you just click the more area in the description on this video, and you can find out where to get deals on good stuff. That's pretty much it. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. The channel is growing very quickly. We're almost to 1,100 subscribers, which is nothing. I get it. I'm no Vosk Coin, all right? I'm no Brandon Coin with his 100,000 followers. He's doing good stuff. He's making a lot of videos. We are pretty new at this. We're just starting out. A couple months into this thing, just crossing over 1,000. That seems like a good start. I think we're on the right path. I'm trying my best to make educational and informative content. I'm trying to make it fun. We're doing these giveaways. We're doing other stuff. I'm trying to make this as interesting as I possibly can. So if there's something specific you would like me to dive into, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to address it in a future video. Other than that, thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful day.